So lately I've been trying to go through all the movies that I've been sent by my subscribers as presents and knock them out. I feel bad that I hadn't gotten to them earlier, but when they sent them to me, I was just knocking out a ton of stuff and they got pushed to the wayside. They started to pile up, and then it just became this daunting task of like, which one do I do first? I felt like favoritism, blah, 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 blah. But I'm finally starting to get to the films that I was sent. And man, did I pick a fucking winner here, or should I say Johnny Banks picked a winner here. That is stone cold. Now, this is something I knew nothing about when I went into it. The only thing I knew it was an action flick, and I expected it to just be cheesy stuff. I didn't know what to expect at all. I'm a big fan of stuff like Roadhouse or Death Wish 3 or any of these over-the-top action flicks where you just got these buffed up dudes punching each other in the face, lots of gunfire and ridiculousness to it. I love that kind of stuff. It's something I like just as much as I like horror. I just don't watch it as much as I'd like to. And so when I threw this on, I was blown away. I thought this was fucking awesome. Like, awesome. Like Roadhouse, that type level of awesome. Commando, that fucking awesome stuff, man. Why the hell is this not being talked about more? I know it was a box office failure. It went up against some other big film of the year, and it just crushed the career of Brian Bosworth. He was a football player, a linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks, and they tried to make him the next big action hero, and he should have been one of them. He should be in the names with like Seagal and Van Damme and that kind of stuff. Like, he's awesome in this movie. This movie's fucking badass. I was really surprised when I watched this and it's also much better than it has any right to be. And I give a lot of credit to Brian Bosworth himself, but also a supporting cast here. They give really good performances. Lance Henriksen plays Chains, the main boss guy here. And you also have William Forsythe, who, he plays like the goon of the gang. And my God, they both give great, awesome, fun. They're over the top, yes, but they fit the film so well. I was really pleasantly surprised. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10 for just pure entertainment factor, this is a straight up 10. I loved every second of the film from beginning to end. So I am going to talk spoilers here. But thank you, Johnny, for sending me this, because this movie's fucking awesome, man. Lots of gratuitous nudity from hot-ass chicks, lots of freaking great one-liners, lots of, but I feel like calling it just some cheesy action movie actually downplays its quality, because there's actually really cool action set pieces here. There's a moment where they're like flying a helicopter right down the middle of like a town square at what looks like a city hall, and there's hundreds of people gathered around that are being fired at and whatever, and there's like this action sequence on the helicopter. This is before CGI. This is before, like, that helicopter was literally flying down the middle of the street. I don't know if it was up on some rig or whatnot. Whatever it was, it looked incredible. And there's so many cool sequences, guys driving freaking motorcycles off into helicopters, and motorcycles being ran around inside these buildings, and chase, these big chase sequences with some of the worst stunt doubles I've ever seen for a character. They don't look anything like their counterparts there on the screen. But man, these are cool. Yeah, I was very, very impressed. They must have pumped a lot of money into this movie. I don't know how much they spent on the movie, but it really looks good. I'm so happy I own it, and I'm really bummed that I didn't know about it sooner. I've heard of it, kind of. Like, I know the title, but I don't really know anything about it, and I never hear anyone talk about it. When fun action flicks of the late 80s, early 90s get brought up, that ain't one of them. And it fucking should be. He was, okay, let's get to the film. So, spoilers from here on. So much like Cobra, which is another favorite of mine, it starts off with a grocery store robbery. What's the difference between this grocery store robbery and the one that Cobra goes to? Well, Cobra is called in because he's this renegade cop. He's going to pull up in his cool car, and he's going to come in there, and he's going to kick some ass. He's going to drink some beers. No. So we have Brian Bosworth comes in, and I laughed out loud because I didn't realize what was going on in the moment. I thought he was coming in to save the day. And I realized, because there's like all this shouting and these guys holding everyone hostage. And Brian Bosworth is that character in this movie. He's that hero that just so happens to fall into these scenarios where he has to be the hero. It's all by happenstance. Like, he's walking in and he just has a shopping cart and he's walking down, he's being all cool, he's throwing around his bleached mullet, which actually he wears really well. It does date the movie, but it's still actually kind of cool, weirdly. It's not, but it is. He pulls it off because he's so badass in this. But he's coming down the lane and you're like, this dude's just there to shop. He's just shopping. And then he hears a ruckus and he goes to investigate. And of course he kicks everyone's ass. One guy slips so hard that he goes end over end into this huge giant display of Coke cans. Of course there's always one conveniently set up. And then he walks out. He's got his one-liner there. How you gonna sweet talk your way out of this one? It's like clean up on aisle 4 or whatever. It's just great. I mean, it's the total Arnold, Sly Stallone one-liner moments, but he delivers it so well. He's so charismatic in this. He's a great action lead. He's better than Seagal. I'll tell you that. That's a household name. Seagal can't act worth shit. Yes, Seagal might actually be able to beat you up, but that doesn't mean he has a presence. Not like I don't like some Seagal movies. Under Siege is freaking awesome. Hard to Kill, freaking Marked for Death. Hard to Kill. Is that right, him? No. Wait. Shit. Now I'm mixing up titles. Regardless. I dig those flicks. And I feel like I honestly haven't seen his movies very much. I've seen Seagal's movies maybe 1 or 2 times each at best, so that's why I'm not super familiar with the titles. But I did like them. Under Siege I've seen a bunch, actually. I really like that one. Tommy Lee Jones is badass in that movie. But anyway, so I like that the damsel in distress there has wearing full-on actual headgear. You don't see that very often, but I guess it makes her seem more, weak. That she needs saving. I don't think I've ever seen a little girl. She's maybe 15, 16. She's wearing like full on, like stereotypical nerdy freaking character headgear in this. I didn't know what the hell was on her head for a second. So then they call the boss in to infiltrate this biker gang. And he's the only man for the job because he's arrested more bikers in Alabama or Arkansas. I can't remember what state they are. But yeah, he's arrested more bikers than anyone. So that makes him, the only person that can do this. But look at the size of this man. He's the only one that has the look to go in there. And so he does. And he gets this sidekick, this partner there that's like the exact opposite of him. He's a total nerd. They don't really play into his character too much. So when this movie ends and he has this big moment, I wish he had more screen time. I wish they had more development between the two, because that moment where he saves him at the end and says his line there, I think it would have hit harder and it would have made more impact if we would have gotten to know this character better as kind of his opposite and how he was more of the, not weaker one, but the guy who wasn't quick to act like that or whatnot. And when he does save him, it's like, oh shit, like he did it. It's the Al Powell moment, in Die Hard, when he pulls the gun after he tells him the story about shooting the kid with the ray gun, all that stuff. That's an emotional moment. I'm not saying this film is going to be Die Hard. It doesn't have that kind of emotional impact. It's not trying to. This is more fun. Die Hard gets more serious. But the Al Powell moment has more weight to it because we get to know Al so intimately, and they're kind of counterparts to each other. Like John McClane and Al are very, very polar opposites, but they, when they kind of come together and he has that moment, it is a very emotional moment. It's great. And this film could have had that, but it works fine. it's not bad by any means. I just felt like it could have been done just a little better if we could have focused on that character and had them interact more. You really only get the one bar scene where they go to the bar together and he's dressed like a goof, and then they talk in like the car later, and that's really, I mean, they don't really have many interactions, and I would have liked to see them just talk more. But it's a nitpick. It's not a big deal. I still liked it, but I just would have liked to see a little bit more of his character. The bikers in this are so exaggerated. You got that biker dude from Terminator 2 that he gets the clothes from. Here is one of the main bikers. William Forsythe and him are shooting cans off of each other's shoulders, and the guy's like so drunk he can't even barely aim, and he's like shooting and he misses like 4 times, and he finally shoots it. He doesn't shoot. He's like, fuck it, he puts it on his head. Like, you can't hit it on my shoulder. I'm going to put it on top of my head. Which, I mean, it's really not that big of a difference. You're still aiming in this general area, so the likelihood of you getting shot is very high. And then on the opposite side of it, once he does shoot the can, then William Forsythe takes his fully automatic freaking, like, it's not an Uzi, but it's something like it, and he fires it at the guy. And the guy is like, he fires it at the guy, and the guy's like, what the fuck? And like kind of falls to the ground as he hits it. And then the car that he shoots blows up behind him. And everyone is like cheering and he's laughing. And it's one of the most ridiculous scenes I've ever watched, because it's so nonsensical. It's so not even within the realms of reality or possibilities that in that moment, I already was so sold on the film from the grocery store scene. But over-the-top action movies that just completely throw logic out the door from like minute 1 and really let us know what the rules are, the lack thereof, I'm all about. Because my big issue is when films set up ground rules that they say they're based in reality and that these laws of physics and this and that do apply, and then somewhere in the film they defy their own rules they have already set up. And that frustrates me. But if you already kind of set the bar here, and it's like, no, like, don't take anything seriously. You can't overthink anything, because there's tons of shit in this movie that I could be like, that wouldn't really happen, and this wouldn't really happen. But you got to just kind of throw that stuff out the door. This is like a Fast and the Furious type of movie nowadays. Those franchises where it's just gone like, fuck it, they can jump from building to building without the nose tipping down and falling straight down, because that's how a car would fly across the air. But yeah, no, it's just, there's so many moments like that. But I thought the can shooting moment might be the most ridiculous fucking moment in the entire film. No reaction to a car blowing up behind him, shooting a fully automatic weapon at him, just like blindly, and not one of those bullets hitting him is ridiculous. Then this guy goes and he blows a priest away, like right out a window. For what reason? I don't know. I don't think it's ever explained. I actually watched the Good Bad Flicks review of this. He does the whole breakdown of the whole thing, and he was going through it, and he was like, that guy goes like deep, man. He watches the movie tons of times and like gets every little intimate detail. And he even was like, he blows this guy away for some reason. I don't know. And I was like, okay, I'm glad that I feel vindicated here, because I was like, why? Maybe he liked that chick. I don't know, but he blows some priest away, goes into jail. Then they blow up the freaking judge of his case, and his case is going to be later determined by a different judge, by the whip, and they're gonna crack the whip. They just set up their own one-liners in here, give characters names to then later make fun of. Awesome stuff. A lot of really funny like explosions and body parts and stuff, bodies flying, and oh, great stuff. The boat explosion with the judge is gnarly. Then we get the boss making a awesome smoothie, which I feel like is a action movie trope. We've seen like the gross food or whatever that characters make. I've seen in a bunch of movies, but this one is a blender full, and it's not for him though. We find out that he has like this pet Komodo dragon or huge lizard. I don't know what the hell that thing is, but it's enormous. He gives it OJ, Snickers, tortilla, it's like potato chips, eggs, raw eggs, banana, and Tabasco sauce. I thought for sure he was gonna drink that. And I was just like, that's everything a grown boy needs. But no, he gives it to whatever the hell that thing is. But it's awesome that he has like a unique animal, because yeah, it makes sense. And speaking of a unique animal, that girl that he wakes up with in the morning when he's wearing that ridiculous thong thing that I couldn't wear that shit no matter what I look like naked. Well, with underwear on, I guess. Yeah, this is so silly. But yeah, that girl in the bed, holy shit, it's crazy. And then it cuts to this strip club that has like a hair metal band, and all these naked ladies are dancing on this band inside a strip club. Sure, why not? That's awesome. And then they get into this huge fight because the boss walks up and he gets in William Forsythe's face and he's pushing. Then they go back and they have this big brawl, and then freaking the boss grabs this guy and he takes him and he throws him. I love when they do this in movies. He throws him over the bar, into the bar, breaking thousands of dollars worth of alcohol. Thousands of dollars of profit. Replacing it probably wouldn't be anywhere near as much because the markup is insane, but thousands and thousands of dollars. And no one kicks him out. No bartender is like, what the fuck? Like would happen in reality. That's what I'm saying. You can't think of anything in realistic terms here. But yeah, throws him over the bar. You see this in Roadhouse like a few times. Like, Jesus Christ, how many times is the Double Deuce going to have to replenish their liquor? And they can't even get their liquor. They stop their shipments until Wade Garrett shows up. But yeah, it's just so fucking funny that he throws him over the thing and just no one says anything, and people are giving him high fives and whatnot. And that's when he meets Gut. I really like Gut. I thought he was a cool character. I was actually really bummed out when he died. And another, I guess we'll bring it up. We're kind of jumping the gun here, but I was genuinely shocked when they shot his love interest to death. I thought for sure she staged it and was going to come back because they did the whole vest thing earlier in the movie, and they did all these different things. I was just like, oh, she's not dead, or they're going to cut back to her and she's going to be, injured or what. No, we never go back to her. She's dead. I was really surprised by that. What I was not surprised by was the dude with the ear, the tattoos, the guy who plays, what's the character's name? It'll come to me. In Bloodsport, the fighting guy, he has his arms up like this all the time. Paco, there it is, from Bloodsport. Love that movie. Yeah, it was cool to see him in here. But the dude with the tattoo in the ear, which I thought was cool. They grabbed a corpse's ear and had a tattoo artist match the ear, and then he brought him the ear, which is what he asked for, and then put him on a plane. You're like, oh, he's coming back. And we get all the chicks in the shower just sweeping by, these like freaking Sports Illustrated models just hanging out with dirty, gross bikers. I don't know how realistic that is, but hey, you never know. And the dude that the boss fights in that freaking sand pit is a monster, dude. That dude was ripped, and he goes up and he hits him as hard as he can a couple times. Oh, funny stuff. And you can see though in the thing, I saw this on the Good Bad Flicks thing, so I'm not taking credit for this, but it's funny when you watch it again after I saw it from his thing. The boss is wearing gloves during that fight and then not wearing them, then wearing them, then not wearing them, then wearing them. It's funny how many movies do that, but you would think that you would have somebody who would go back and check the footage and be like, you were wearing gloves or you weren't wearing gloves, like take those off. But no. But yeah, he magically is able to grow gloves out of his hands and then, absorb them over and over. That's his superpower. It's like a Wolverine with leather gloves. The meetings that they have, this actually feels fairly Sons of Anarchy a good amount of the times. I know it's a biker gang and this and that, so comparisons are going to be drawn, but the meetings that they had, I only watched like 4 seasons of that show. I honestly wasn't a fan of it. I tried, I pushed. That Ireland season killed me. I was just like, I know that's like, I think 3 or something, or 2. I don't remember what it was, but oh my God, that was a painful one for me. I couldn't even get through it. I did, but Anyway, but it did feel like that at times, and I was wondering if it had any inspiration of it at all. I don't know. And yeah, I mean, when the boss, I keep calling him the boss, but Stone, as they call him in the movie, John Stone, right? Isn't that the name he takes on? I only saw the movie once, so I'm having a hard time remembering everyone's names, but I should write those down. I don't think I have them written down. God damn it. I know Chains is Lance Henriksen's, and then Gut, I remembered that, and then John Stone. I can't remember what his real name is. Brian? No, that's his real name. His actual, that fucking doesn't matter. But yeah, he's on the front of the car. They're driving this car, and he's on the front of it, and he's fucking on that car as it's driving down really fast, and it's turning around. I was like, oh shit, that's actually him. And then when he gets thrown, I mean, as I said, William Forsythe, fuck dude, I can't say his name. His motorcycle double, when they're in the chase, oh my god. Could they get a guy that looked less like him? He might as well have been black, female, little person or something, you know? It was ridiculous. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that he was on the front of that car. He must have been strapped there, but it's still pretty dangerous for what I could tell. And he just breaks one guy's arm, and the guy's like, ugh. And then they just get back in the car, and he's like, for some reason, shoots one of them, no big deal, but then only holds the boss, you know, at gunpoint. And then it's like, you tell your boss we're not taking shit anymore, and then drives off. And it's like, why not just kill them both? It's just so lucky. And just threatens him, of course. They probably just thought the bullets would bounce off that monster. We got the coroner from Jason Goes to Hell in here. Anytime I see a lot of Jason Goes to Hell people for some reason lately. It's bumming me out. That movie's fucking terrible. And then they bring that girl in because that dude gets all burned up, and then they force this girl to come down and freaking marry him. Oh, that was tragic. Then they bring the head in the helmet, the motorcycle helmet. That was great. I love that his eyes are like looking up. You think like, wait, is he under the table? Or because it's the way he looks, it looks weird in the moment. I guess he died looking up. What was he looking at? We'll never know. And they kill the soldiers in cold blood. Nancy, there's the girl's name, and Gut are no way. They're done with that shit. That's not what their gang's about. They're not about killing people in cold blood. And I like the motorcycle chase because when William Forsythe pulls up next to the guy, he grabs his knife and he cuts the guy's arm, and it makes him swerve like and almost crash into the bus. It would have been, you know, I liked that. That was great. That was a great moment. A lot of really awesome shit in this movie. And then the head-on collision. Oh, I love it. It's nowhere near as good as the one in like Mad Max or anything with the bulging eyes and all that. Toe cutter. But it's a fun one. It's pretty funny looking because they show it from the side and it all explodes and, you know, of course, turns to pure fire. I love it. And then they burn him on his bike like on a freaking pyre. It's great. They put him up there. They stage him up there. Put his hand in and they burn him and his motorcycle. I guess that can't be the motorcycle he died on. So they had to then take another motorcycle and just burn it. Seems like a waste of a motorcycle, but I guess this guy maybe had a few motorcycles laying around, and that's like their burial, right? That's like their Viking funeral or something. They throw him out there and burn him. I was thinking, man, there better not be any gas in that tank, because if you set it on fire and you're all sitting around with alcohol, and he's gonna blow up, and then all your freaking, you know, liquor is gonna blow up. That'd be one hell of a party. And the negotiations they have, and he shoots the guy in the chest. I was like, all right, that guy's part of it. That was good, though. I mean, as I said, but you had to bank on that one of them wasn't going to just also finish the job. So that was one dangerous ass stunt there. Like, don't worry, I'll be the only one who shoots you. Like, says who? They could have fucking pulled their guns out and shot him with you. You know what I mean? Like, that scene was hilarious to me. I was like, no one would put their life. That's the Dumb and Dumber moment. What if he shot us in the face? And it's like, yeah, what if he shot us in the face? It's like, yeah. You think? Is he wearing a bulletproof fucking mask that you could see through? That was just such a crazy ass thing. Then he chases down this trailer and shoots the trailer. Great moment. What an expensive, elaborate scene to shoot too. He goes down and he shoots the trailer and it comes off just in the right moment to slide into a gas station. And of course the gas station blows up. And, oh God, it's great. That's freaking great. Hilarious. He's really not keeping his identity concealed in this either. He's got his, I mean, if you describe this guy, I think everyone's going to know exactly who's been chasing you down when they are like, you know, you gave us this shipment and some dude with a blowing, you know, bleached mullet and a skunk, you know, design on his jacket chased us down. I wonder who that might be. So he probably should, if he's going to be undercover, he should probably try to stay undercover. Maybe the cover of a hood or a mask or something, but nah, Boz is too cool for that shit. And then, yeah, as I said, the guy narcs, and then he gets killed, the girl gets killed, shocking moment. And then Chains cuts all his hair off, although I'm sure that was a wig, obviously, but he cuts all his hair off so he can act like a preacher to walk into the joint and kill everybody to get his homie out of there. And then they're just going to drive motorcycles in there, grab him, and come on out. Hilarious. And let's see. I love it. He grabs the guy and he puts the bomb on him and he kicks him out of the helicopter and you see the bomb explode and the body like fly off in the other direction. It's a great sequence. I love stuff like that. As I already said, the helicopter down the street I thought was an incredible sequence. I would love to see the behind the scenes making of that because that's a seriously impressive shot. I don't know where that was filmed, but that definitely was a lot of money. And yeah, the motorcycle and the helicopter, that obviously reminds me of Terminator 2, except for he jumps it off and jumps onto the thing, but similar. And I've seen it in other movies as well, but that's the first one that comes to my mind. And the welcome to my slaughterhouse line that he says, he probably should have just saved the line. Chains should have probably saved that line because it cost him his life. If you know, that's the Die Hard moment, right? When he gives him the advice of like, when you have someone in your sights, just shoot them. It's like, thanks for the advice. Yeah. Freaking Chains should do this. But yeah, and then of course, the boss leaves him alive. Like he'll kill everyone else and then the boss gets a pass. Happens in every fucking one of these movies. And then somebody has to step in, like in Roadhouse, and they blow him away with the shotguns or whatever. Same thing, always. They always let the guy who needs it to get it more than anybody, they leave them alive. Because they always have them defeated, and they have them on the ground, they're going to break them, or they're going to rip their throat out, or they're going to shoot. Damn, I was cut off right in the middle of that. Somebody called. That sucks. Oh well, I need to remember to put this thing on airplane mode. Fuck! But yeah, he grabs Brad Wesley. Okay, we're done with Roadhouse. We're done with all that shit. It's just funny to me that they never kill the bad guy. They sometimes do, but a lot of times they let them live and then somebody else kills them because they come around. The other person shoots them. But it's like, why? Of all the people that you're not going to kill, would it be the guy who deserves it the most? So silly. Whatever. And as I said, poor Gut. I liked him. It's a bummer that he had to die the way that he did. He like protected the boss there, which was just, yeah, it was sad. But anyways, Johnny, thank you, man. This movie is badass. I highly recommend it to any action fans. I've said that enough, so I'm just going to end this. Sucks that it got cut off. Oh well. All right.